Okay, let me introduce you to Prajna Beladakere Krishnamurthy. Prajna is a fifth-year PhD student in speech and hearing science. With a background in mechanical engineering, she is fascinated by how the brain processes sound, especially in complex listening environments. Her research interests include auditory attention, cognition, and stream segregation. Outside academia, she enjoys climbing, biking, painting, and spending time in nature with family and friends. Her presentation is titled Improving Reverberant Speech Intelligibility in Cochlear Implant Users.
Thank you, everyone. Imagine you're in a cathedral with your friend and you're trying to have a conversation. It must be hard because the sound feels muffled or blurry. This is because in the cathedral, you don't receive just the sound coming from your friend's mouth. You also receive all the reflections. As the sound propagates, it interacts with the neighboring surfaces, such as the walls and the tall ceilings, combines with the original sound, and reduces its clarity. This makes it harder to understand the speech. But reflections of sound are not unique to cathedrals. They're present in almost all everyday enclosed spaces, like restaurants, classrooms, and including this hall. And if you are a typical hearing listener with good hearing, you barely ever notice reflections, do you? And isn't that fascinating? My research goal is to understand how typical hearing listeners adapt to these reflections and assist cochlear implant users. Cochlear implants are devices that are used to restore hearing in those with profound hearing loss, and they are known to struggle quite a bit in everyday environments. So how does the typical hearing brain adapt to these reflections? Turns out a primary cue is simply the strength of reflections over time. So as the sound is bouncing off of various surfaces, it is losing its energy rapidly. And your brain gives less perceptual weight to sounds that have this falling intensity. This is why you're now able to focus on my voice, which has sustained energy, and neglect the reflections that have this dying energy. In contrast, cochlear implants take all the sounds present in the environment, including the reflections, and convert it to electric form. And in this process, they artificially exaggerate the strength of reflections. This is why, for cochlear implant users, even everyday environments sound like cathedrals. And the current research tries to address this by removing the reflections from the sound before it is converted to electric form. However, this is computationally very expensive and demanding to implement. My research asks a question where, are there some simple modifications that can be done to the cochlear implant device such that it preserves this dying nature of the reflected sound? And will that benefit cochlear implant users to understand speech in reflective spaces? My preliminary findings say, yes, these modifications modestly improve speech intelligibility in this population. And with this, my hope is that they have a very easy time socializing with their friends and family in restaurants, classrooms, and even in cathedrals. Thank you.
Okay, so you have a background in mechanical engineering,
yes,
and now you're in speech and hearing science.
Yes.
So how did this happen? What's your academic journey?
Thank you, Emily, for this question. I get asked this every time I meet somebody new. So I did my master's in sound and vibrations, and at that time, I was studying how sound propagates through machines and buildings, for example. At the same time, I was really interested in psychology and neuroscience. So I found the intersection between these two areas, which is how we perceive and process sound. And this led me to a job opportunity where I led a project where we looked into how the quality of the sound produced by electric chainsaws or similar equipment affected the user's perception of the product quality. And this was a very interesting project for me. So simultaneously, I was looking for research opportunities in the hearing sciences, and that's how I came here.
Oh, that's really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.